Okay. Hello, everyone. We're starting the first day of the XDC Bootcamp, Vibe Coding Bootcamp. Today is the first day. Vibe. Get started. Everything that you need, even if you are non-technical, even if this is the first time that you're hearing about XDC, I'm going to show this brand new world of vibe coding, how to get started, how to figure out your environment, how to figure out what you want to do and what you can do with things. I'm going to run you over this. And in the next session, you're going to learn how to craft your D app, deploying that on a testnet. And in the third day, you're going to deploy that live into production, into mainnet, and make $1 billion. Just kidding. It's going to be prepare you to deploy live, but of course, vibe coding is not 100% ready now for building production deployment ready applications yet. So I'm going to explain about that today. You're going to get introduced on how to build your first apps, your first ID, a landing page, and your first wallet connection, or your first stablecoin. Now that we're going to work token project, I would say. But it's not ready for you to deploy production and make money with it yet. Okay, that's very important. I want to get that straight out in the beginning, just so that we set up our expectations. Okay, we're going to learn how to vibe today. Tomorrow, we're going to learn how to build your application. And Friday, we're going to learn how to deploy that. Why is that important? First of all, because XDC is great, and also XDC is giving us some prize monies. Let me start sharing my screen to explain the whole idea of the of the program. You might have subscribed already inside the Luma page. Okay, I saw some people asking questions about getting a membership, so it is for free. Let me show my screen. We have this luma.com/venture miner. You can come here, pick a free builder pack. If you want to pick all the options, they are there if you want to buy, but it's not mandatory for this bootcamp. You can just pick the free builder pack, click here on join, and you are there. After you join, just fill up this, and you are going to have the builder membership for free forever. And then you can start this bootcamp. You can enroll to get access to these invites, to get access to the program, to the content. And inside the Luma page, you're going to see this link, get access to the GitHub repository, okay? If this link is missing, this is Pedro's fault, not mine, okay? So please, in turn, fix all the links, but just kidding. It's here, so you can find the link, get access to the GitHub repository. You should be able to find it in today's page, in last Monday's AMA page as well, which is going to bring you here all of the content for the bootcamp itself, which is very short, surprisingly, one of the shortest that I ever done in more than 5 years of teaching people how to build with Web3, with blockchain. So this is basically everything that you're going to need. I'm going to go over this today in the next sessions. And I was telling you why we're learning all of that, right? Because of this. We're going to submit a project. Yes, even if you are not technical, even if you're bringing your kids, your grandmother, it doesn't matter who you are in terms of technical capabilities, but if you have good ideas, and if you know how to prompt correctly, and if you have enough patience to go through 1 hour of my lesson listening all my bad jokes, then you can do it. I guarantee that you can do it. I've been having good results with those vibe coding sessions that we have been doing. So it is possible. In just 3 days, you're going to learn how to build this project, how to build your project. You got to submit your project by September 1st, okay? Not a minute after. The form is here. If you find the GitHub, you're going to see this form. I'm going to email for all of you as well, just in case you forget. If you forget, I'm going to go there and knock at your door. Just kidding. So this is the objective. You should be able to create a project in just 3 days of lessons and compete for these prizes. $500 for the first prize, the best project as judged by the judges. $300 for the second prize and $200 for the third prize. Okay, very good opportunity. We have great judges enrolled for this bootcamp. We have John, we have Patrick Skinner, we have Naruto, we have Bhavna, and we have Devdas line it up to give you very good feedback and judging your project submissions on the last day, on the 4th of September. Okay, for us to pick the top 10 projects and then give prizes for the first, second, and third places. Got you interested? Are you willing to join? Okay, what do you need for joining this bootcamp? What do you need today? You probably have water there. It's very important. Take a source of hydration. Water. Very hydrated. So wet. Second thing that you need, internet connection and a browser that I assume that you have. Otherwise, how are you here? Okay. So third thing that you need, patience and all, because I'm going to show all of the tools. You don't need to install anything on your computer today. You don't need to download any software. You don't need to learn any technique other than chatting, speaking with an AI in a very specific way. So if you know English, Spanish, Portuguese, whatever language that you know how to speak, you're going to get this website called Visior.app. Doesn't need to be this a specific app. You can use any other app that you know of, but if you don't know any other apps, you can use this one, Visior.app. Alternatives are Lovable, Bolt, Replit, even tools that you can install on your computer, like Cursor, like Windsurf, like Klein extension. There are many others that you can use. And they have a better UI, a better user experience and interface for you to build applications. Because the alternative that would be coming to ChatGPT and then going for it directly for building an app. Let me generate like build a web page for ranking animals from best to worst. And of course, dolphins and elephants, those would be probably the best one. Which one is the worst animal? I don't know. Let's see what the website says. So these kind of generations, they work with ChatGPT. Why I'm showing that? Because most of you should know ChatGPT. If you don't know ChatGPT, congratulations. You have been hiding in a cave for a while. I've been just mind your business. And if you're not aware about ChatGPT, you are probably doing very important things of your life. But if you know ChatGPT is the go-to place that people go for learning stuff with AI, for trying things with AI, and they can generate code here. It's possible. As you see, you have all of these lines of code. You probably don't know HTML, you don't know JavaScript, but here the code is correct. But the problem is that now you ask me, so what? I have code, but I don't know how to do it, how to host it, how to build an application with it, how to publish that to my friends. This is a very important application. I need to rank the animals. I would love to see which is the 45th most awesome animal in the world for some reason. So this is not that easy for a non-technical person. I would not recommend going directly for ChatGPT or Cloud or anything for prompting applications. Okay, you can do very good. All the prompts you can prompt like contract, legal contracts, not lawyer, but a lawyer might tell you otherwise. But you can get these kind of textual things. You can get like lyrics for music. You can get recipe for banana bread, whatever you want to generate with AI, textual based, you can. But when you're speaking about application and code, the code itself is not that useful unless it's hosted, unless it's putting something to use, right? So ChatGPT is not that good for that. We have the code here, but then for viewing that code, I would need to do extra steps. So I would suggest instead using these tools, those vibe coding tools, AI coding tools. For example, Visior.app, which is one of the most beginner-friendly that I know of. And different from all the tools out there, Visior has a good balance of being beginner-friendly and also giving you a good website, a good result that you can work with it, that is going to allow you to maintain it later, that is going to give you a good substance behind your website. It's not only a pretty website, sometimes it's not even that pretty at all, but it's more like robust. It's a little less brittle, a little less fragile from if compare with some of the other options out there. Okay. Also, they have very generous free credits. So instead of giving you free credits for both for Replit and all, we can just come to v0.dev and all of the users should have $5 here. I never saw anyone exhausting $5 worth of prompting a day, maybe not even a week. So even with V0 free plan, you should be able to prompt a lot without having any issues. Okay, so it's a very good recommendation. We use a lot of other tools, of course. You can use other tools, but it's a very good recommendation for you to come here for this website called v0.app and then start chatting with it. Okay, so at this point, I have about a couple dozen people watching here. At this point, you might be asking what we're going to do in this bootcamp. Okay, so you can think of any idea that you want to take it from paper and putting that into production. In this moment, we're not going to worry too much with the content itself of the bootcamp. We're going to do XDC integration later using scaffold ETH and all, but for now, we're not going to worry that much with it. We're going to focus on the process of the so-called vibe coding, okay? Because if you get this process well enough today, tomorrow, when we go for the next step, for example, scaffold ETH with XDC and all, you're going to understand the step-by-step and the flow of the programming, okay? I use it to teach this bootcamp, Introduction to the Apps, Solidity, and Scaffold ETH during 6 weeks. 3 weeks just for this introduction that I'm going to do in 3 days. How? I'm going to speak super fast? No, not a lot. I'm going to show how to vibe code, how to use AI to generate the code when we need. So pay a lot of attention on what we're going to do today. And then tomorrow, you're going to be more proficient. We're going to use a little more advanced tools. So it's very good if you get the basics today and get it working on your side, okay? So basically, you just need to tell your idea in English. In this bootcamp, we're going to build a launchpad. So I'm going to ask V0 to build a landing page. This word itself, it's loaded. Whenever the AI receives a requirement for building a landing page, it understands exactly that you need to have specific sections, a first title, and then explaining the features, and then the FAQ at the end. If you ask for a landing page, what is that? Standard web page designed for marketing goal of getting a visitor to sign up for a newsletter or make a purchase, something like that. So the AI understands this very well. What should be the format of a landing page? The AI was trained with billions of, maybe trillions, maybe millions, I don't know, of examples like that. And so it understands when you use this specific word, landing page. So build a landing page for, and then my idea. If I would compress this whole bootcamp of 3 days in just 30 minutes or 15 minutes so far that we are, it would be this single prompt. Build a landing page for my idea. Some people can use like build a PRD for my idea first with a ChatGPT or Perplexity or so. And this keyword would be like a product required documentation for what I want to build. So those keywords are very important. If we can trigger the correct keywords from an AI with correct prompt engineering, there you go. You're going to unleash 90% of the full power of the AI. If you don't know these little tricks of prompt engineering, giving roles, expectations, agent calls, like function callings, using MCP when needed and all, you are only going to get like 10% of the power of the AI, sometimes 5%. So the AIs out there are really, really powerful. You just need to know how to use them the correct way. If you know them, if you try to use them like one-shotting, you're going to get something cool. But if you really know how to build a prompt, how to actually use the prompting engineering techniques, prompt designing as they are calling techniques, you can get the best out of it. So for getting the best of vibe coding, let's try that today. Build a landing page for my idea. And the idea that we're going to do in this bootcamp I have to tweak a thing or two here in this session 2, but the idea is the same. We're going to build Launchpad. Scaffold okay. We're going to build a Launchpad. Yes, launching at the app. I should have that in the description somewhere. Okay. So I'm going to build a landing page for a token Launchpad, tokenized Launchpad on XDC. Okay, I'm going too fast here, but I'm quite sure that I've put here it somewhere this idea. People would buy tokens in the landing page. Yes, I should work better with the definition here. So they would deposit tokens in this Launchpad. I'm going to explain this idea, and I'm going to explain that for the AI. Build a landing page for this tokenized Launchpad on XDC. Instead of this, you are going to replace with your idea, okay? Could be for the animal ranking example that we just did with ChatGPT, okay? So I'm going to go forward with this idea, Inception style, because I want to use this landing page later. So this tokenized Launchpad on XDC, Launchpad will allow users to deposit XDC tokens in the contract, in the smart contract. If you don't know what's a smart contract yet, if this is your first lesson, if you never heard about XDC before, well, we did speak about that in the AMA Monday. But if you skip the AMA and you don't know what's a smart contract, take tomorrow's lesson, okay? We're going to dive deep on that. It's a very crucial part of building decentralized applications, the apps, and that's going to be very important. The AI knows about that. So we're going to use this keyboard for this example, okay? If you are going to do another idea that doesn't involve smart contracts, no worries, okay? Just that tomorrow we're going to learn that they are very cool. They can do programming on your money. Imagine if you have a $1 bill that you can program at, well, whenever my kid is spending this $1 bill in candy, lock it. But whenever my kid is spending these $1 bills in books, allow it. So yes, it's a money that you can program. It's very, very cool, okay? Coming back for the idea, just using as an example for vibe coding today, the Launchpad will allow users to deposit XDC tokens in the smart contract so that they can receive airdrops in the future from projects launched inside Launchpad. So if I deposit $1,000, if some other person deposits $2,000, they're going to have access to where's my spelling correction? Should be here. Oh, it's not. So they're going to receive airdrops. If I put $1,000, I'm going to receive half of the airdrops of someone that put $2,000. I could withdraw from that later. There are many mechanisms that I can do this. In 3 days, we're not going to do wonders, okay? You're going to get started with vibe coding. You're going to deploy smart contracts. It's going to be the base for your project. But for your weekend project, you should be able to work on top of that, use AI to work on top of that. We're not going to put too many features here because I want you to understand the basics. Otherwise, we wouldn't have time to go to the little details. But this should give you enough, this example of the Launchpad should give you enough knowledge so that you can build very cool smart contracts in the future for DeFi, for reward assets, for trading, for payments, okay, using the same primitives, because we're going to use a standard that is very common called ERC20. In XCC is like XRC20. So this is our content for tomorrow. You don't need to worry that much with that for now. It's more how vibe coding is going to guide you for there, okay? If you don't know how to build a website with HTML or JavaScript and all, you also might not know what is a smart contract, ERC20, and also it's just new stuff for you, okay? Don't worry. If I do my job well, you're going to understand all of that by the end of those 3 days. If you already know software development, but you are new to Web3, then those concepts might stand out a little more. I can guide you through these concepts, to these concepts tomorrow, okay? And hands-on. It's not going to be those gigantic slideshow presentations that we see out there. You're going to test everything with the bullets, and now by the last 5 minutes or so for today's lesson, I'm going to show you that, okay? So pretty much enough time. Let me see if I have questions. Oh, Peter, if you have any questions in the meantime, feel free to interrupt me, okay? Let's see.
Okay.
Oh wait, my browser just froze. Oh my God. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, but my browser froze. Oh my God.
Okay, we can wait a little bit. But
That's so
for now,
embarrassing.
we have some questions. Would you want to prevent this moment?
Yeah, I just figured out that we have a huge backlog of questions.
No. But I know which ones are separated. People want to know if they will be prepared to build an app at the end of those classes.
Yes. At the end of these lessons on Friday, you should be able to comply with everything that is required for the criteria. But at the end of Friday's lesson, you're not going to have a fully working project, just a prototype of it, and then you need to build on top of that. Okay, that's the objective. And getting started with vibe coding with V0 here. Okay.
We have this question as well about what does it take to build a website like Vercel or similars?
Yeah. So for now, we're going to use these websites. Okay. So we're going to use V0. So we are going to do this example right now. It's nice to see that a lot of people are paying attention. That's very good. Thank you all that watching here live.
Yeah. And UGC, but I already answered on the chat, are asking if you are teaching throughout ChatGPT, but we are using a net of AIs, so it is important to you follow us through. I will be always putting the link on the comments, and always, if you need it to be, will be on banner on the down below here on video. But for easily access, I will be putting the link on comments as well. So
Thank you very
if
much,
anything
Peter.
comes up, I'll be putting there.
So this is the v0.app that we're using, okay? So after I adjusted my prompt, let me get started with that. This is the idea that we're going to build through the bootcamp. Maybe it's not that well expressed.
Your camera has gone.
Okay. I noticed that something wrong was going on. Let me see.
Yeah, some technical issues here.
Maybe it's that the AI cannot enhance my appearance. Let's go full presentation, okay? Full presentation. Okay. That's the important part. So we're going to do the prompt in V0, and V0 is going to code for us. Look how interesting. They are using the same kind of AIs that ChatGPT uses, Cloud uses, and Google uses, that are LLMs, to think. They're actually not thinking, okay? But don't worry about that too much. This is a definition, a whole discussion about AI is thinking or not, the illusion of thinking or not, but whatever. And it's producing this kind of post text. We prompted for this, and then it produced it. The user wants me to build a landing page for tokenized launchpad on XDC, XFIN, a digital contract. This is a crypto blockchain project. This is a design-focused request that would benefit from creative directions. Okay. And this should be just a landing page of this tokenized launchpad that should have a specific format to explain how the application would work. Okay. And look here what happened. We have a website generated. I did not ask for those specific elements. I did not ask for a pill saying powered by XDC Network. I did not ask for a nav bar here and now, or for a button to connect wallets. I did not ask for anything like that. Still, the AI could fill up the blanks and produce this landing page for me. Okay, so at this point, if you are following the lesson, you can try that. pick v0.app, put your idea there, and see if you can generate it. Okay, that might be a good starting point. And this is what v0 generated for me. A landing page explaining the project, unlock future gains with the XDC airdrops, start earning airdrops, learn more, and then hallucinated some numbers, $2.5 million, lock it in, 15 projects launched, 5,000 active users. Okay, how it works? Let me see if they suggested a good flow. Deposit XDC, this we are going to do. Until Friday, you're going to learn how to do that, how to deposit money without using any bank or any payment processor like PayPal or Stripe or anything like that. I'm going to use only crypto. It's going to be super easy. Get verified. So when you deposit, you automatically qualify your airdrops. That's good. And then receive airdrops. This part we are not going to do in the bootcamp 2 and 3, but would be the base for that. See, then you can use the same primitive for doing more cool stuff in the future. So why to use XDC? So get early access to projects, secure audited. So all of that was AI generated, you see? This is very cool. AI can do that, can move ahead, fill in the blanks. Sometimes it's wrong, sometimes it's correct. So it's going to be very helpful for us to achieve everything that we need in just three days in this bootcamp. Okay, so this was the generation, the AI generated application. Okay, I do have access to the code. If I want to change something in the code, I do have those 2 pages. One is a CSS file, and the other is a TSX file. You need to know coding. It's not English. Okay, you need to know coding to know what you can change, what you cannot change. This requires a specific syntax. But if you are not a developer, v0 allows you to edit things very easily. Instead of going to the code tab, you can remain here in the design tab. You can chat with the AI for follow-up questions. For example, add a pane for testimonials. A pane or a section for testimonials. There is a cool feature with v0. If you click on these prompt tools here in the bottom, you can ask it to enhance the prompt. So even if you don't know how to prompt engineer it so well, you can ask the AI to compose the code for the AI itself. Okay, so that is possible. For some reason, it did not work here. Let me see. Okay, good. So the AI composed the prompt for the AI itself. So now it suggests that create a landing page for tokenized launchpad and XDC Network. This launchpad will enable include a dedicated section for testimonials from users who have successfully participated in the previous airdrops. This section should highlight their experiences and all. See how the AI is doing a good job on prompt engineering for itself. Kind of inception here, okay? I would take this part out. Maybe just straight to the point. Include a dedicated section for testimonials. So when you were using AI-generated prompts for the AI itself, it's a good idea to review because it's just English. It requires a bit of technique to know what to include or not, how to handle something that we call context, but it's not that a big deal, okay? It's not mandatory, just to increase the result. So the first thing that you can do is after you do your generation, you can ask follow-up questions without going for the code. Okay, you don't need to change anything on the code on yourself. You can just remain in the design pane of it, and it's going to do all of the changes for you. Okay, it's working on that file, adding the testimonial sections, and in a while that should be ready. Okay. Any questions in the meantime?
Oh, okay, we don't have any actually.
Okay. Oh, for the initial prompt, so the format should be build a landing page and then for your idea. And I'm also explaining kind of the primitives that we're going to do in the bootcamp, but you can also replace that with any other idea. Okay. So let's scroll down. Success stories. Oh, nice. So Alex Keane was an early adopter deposited 10,000 XDC tokens and received airdrops over $3,500. That's nice, Alex. Good. So you see how the AI can generate this kind of content for you? That would be the idea. Tomorrow we're going to do with more toolings, with more structure, smart contracts. It's going to be way more advanced. And today's the introduction for the concept of vibe coding itself. Okay, we are not going to use V0 tomorrow. We're going to use something more advanced. We're going to need some tools on your machine, so we'll prepare you for that. But before we go to those complications with those little details, make sure that you get the process working for you on V0, because it's web, it's easy to get started, you get the flow of it, you get comfortable with it before going for heavier tools. Okay.
Okay, Matthias, we have some information. We should change the name of the application. Something like custom token or something like that would be optimal for the situation.
It's not that relevant. For now, it's more learning how to vibe code. The name is not that important.
But we could if you want to. And how could we like address this kind of design situation? If I want to change the name or the colors, I'll still do it from V0.
Yeah, for example, let's say I want to change something, like change the name of the app to launch XDC Vibe Launchpad, whatever name. That's a follow-up change. Change the colors, change the name of the app, change something, the numbers, whatever. You can I'll do that by text. Okay.
Okay.
The second tool that I'm going to show you would be the design tool, which is much more precise. Because a very common complaint that people have about AI is that you ask it to do one thing and then it starts doing something else. Let's say I ask it to change the name of the app and then it changes a lot of more things. It's common. It might happen because of how AI's quotes like think, which is not actually thinking itself. I'm doing quotes with my finger, but I'm not in the camera, so imagine me doing quotes with my finger while I say think. For it to be more precise, we can use this design tab and then select one element to preview, to make changes. For example, instead of connect wallet, information that is going to be relevant for later in the bootcamp, I'm not going to have a connect wallet button here. I'm going to have a button that is called Start Now. Why? Because later we're going to use scaffold ETH for building the app. This is going to be just a landing page. The landing page, I don't want it to connect the wallet. So I want to rename this button to Start Now.
Matthias,
I could,
again,
yes.
we have a question. Alan is asking if you can show him the prompts for testimonials. He is building as we go.
Okay, so for example, if you want to do a change like that, a testimonial, so I asked it, I started with just like include a session for testimonials and then use this tool for enhancing prompt. So it worked well, but you can use any kind of prompt like that. It's just a simulation of adding a section. For example, if you want to create a testimonial, you can ask something like include a dedicated section for testimonials, then click here, enhance prompt. Okay.
Thank you.
And for now, I'm editing with the design. Okay, it's good. I could also click and change things too. Like could type here, start now. So let me see. That is, how did I do that? I know that you can select, and when it's text, let's see if I can get to the text of it itself. I know that you can change the content. Let's see if I can find it. Yes, you can change the content of some of the text yourself. So let's say, deposit your XDC tokens. You can literally type inside the page if you want. But for some things like this button, I don't. I do have the content. So nice. So I'm just going to name it like start now. Okay, start now, and I'm going to click on save. That's saving my change. Start now. For some reason, it's not picking 100%, but whatever. But what I was trying to show, it's something that you cannot change with text. For example, instead of doing these, let me see something. Instead of doing these as a squared cards, I could the content I can change very easily just by typing in like I showed in the button. But I could change the UI, the look of the page, or like for example, add a fourth card, something like that. It's not just changing the text, the content, or I could change the color as well. But if I want to do something that is textual, that is an instruction from AI, I can select a specific place inside my website. Instead of giving it a broad prompt that it could go wrong, could hallucinate, I could select a specific place using this design tool, select that, and then the AI would be able to code it for me. And then it's here. The fourth card was added to this section. Does it look good? Not that much, but you got the idea. I can select a section, like centralize the cards and put them as 2 rows of 2, something like that. I could select a place in my website so that the AI doesn't mess with anything that is outside of that place, and it implements the change for me. Okay, it's not that good for backend stuff. What's working on the behind. When I click this button, should do this and that, but it's great for UI, for you to quickly prototype and draw around just with text. Look, the result is quite good. Just in a couple minutes of back and forth, we could get some good results here. Okay, so that would be the basics of how to get started with V0. For you to share this website with people, remember I told you with ChatGPT you cannot generate the website that easily, or you cannot share with people. When you are using V0 or those other web-based similar web-based tools, they would give you ability to publish. So for example, in V0, I can click here on publish and publish this website to production. This would host my code, this application, this web application, inside a web hosting service called Vercel. V0 is made with Vercel, it's hosted at Vercel. And they would host your website for free up to some users. Their license allows you to host anything that's not commercial for free, depending on the amount of users that you have, the amount of traffic, and the features that you want. So if you are a vibe coder, just testing out an idea, and you want to show it quickly for your friends, for your family, for your clients, maybe for your investor, for your colleagues in your book, you saw a problem, and you want to quickly vibe code that in 20 minutes and show for that person, you can do that. It's going to be hosted inside Vercel. You can even customize your domain. Instead of V0 token launchpad PSI, big name here, I could do like XDC demo vibe coding vibe demo, something like that. XDC vibe demo. So if anyone goes for this website now called xdc-vibe-demo.vercel.app, you're going to have access to this same application that I have. Let me send for you here in the YouTube. Let me see if I could. Okay, yes. I've sent here on YouTube. So if you go for this domain xdc-vibe-demo.vercel.app, everyone is going to see the same version that I have. And if I make a change, I can publish this change. I can roll back for a different version. This is a great feature of V0 as well. Let's say that the version 3 with just 3 cards was better. So I can click on restore this version. publish this, publish the changes for this website, and then everyone that finishes, no, everyone that visits this website after it finish deploying will have that version, a different version, the version that they restored and all. So it's very, very convenient. Have you ever seen the stories of people that complaining that vibe coding wiped all of the repositories, the things went wrong? So V0 at least keep you safe from that. Even before you publish your code for GitHub or anything like that, you still have the version control, the environments for each of those versions, which is very, very handy. Okay. So if I do have 4 cards here. If I refresh my page now, I should have only 3 because I restored the version. Okay. If you want to connect to GitHub, you can. You can connect your account inside V0 to GitHub branch. You would connect it to Git. For example, I'm going to put in my personal GitHub, the V0 token launchpad landing page. We're going to have another later. So this is going to create that repository. I can draw the code from there. Okay. And basically, this is it. This is the introduction to vibe coding. If you finish vibe coding your application and if you publish, share it here in the YouTube, in the comments for YouTube. I can pick 1 or 2 to view, because this is going to be the basis for everything that we are going to do in this bootcamp. We're going to be with all the tools later, but we are going to be using AI. I'm trying to get my camera to work back. Okay, it's not working. I'm a ghost now. Well, let me keep sharing my screen then. I'm going to use the same basics, the same idea of what we did with V0, but with other tools to show that you can go from idea to deployed smart contract to the app in just 3 sessions, okay, in less than 3 hours. So if you finish vibe coding your app, post a comment here with your app, with your application, and I can see how far we are. Okay, so there's some good people participating. Nice. Okay,
We have now 18 viewers.
just in YouTube. That's nice. Okay, questions so far? If you want to do it later, if you want to send me this link later, no worries. Okay, so what is your task right now? Before tomorrow, you should pick one idea that you have, build a landing page for my idea, for an app that is going to track my expenses, for a game of building cities on Mars, whatever. You have an idea for something that you want to build and you don't know how to code that, feed this idea from an AI, create some prompting around that, ask for a landing page. If you don't ask for a landing page, it's going to try and code the whole app, and then things can go south there. Yeah, I can get lost. So ask for a landing page and you should have a result like that. That is a good starting point. Okay, at least you can send for people to see if they would buy your product, if you would get some feedback. Okay, and this is start button here is going to be very relevant. For now, we are not doing anything with it, but in the future, we're going to use this start button for going for our application. Okay. So
Okay, Sathaya, I guess, is asking how she goes to earlier history, I guess the earlier version, and if it takes long, or I guess we can talk about more this opportunity that we have in V0, because it's not that easy to do in regular coding, right? We need to do a PR request, a push, and then a git pull, and well, this could be done easier, right?
Yeah. So the usual way that people when building software now is to have those branches and different branches and all, but this is hard for non-technical people. So Satya, your question is very good. You have this drop down here of versions that you can pick what version would you prefer to have. If you do a version 7 and you don't like it, like make this website pink, and then the AI is going to change everything. And then you don't like it, you can go back to version 6, where the website was green or something like that. You can do that version control very easy, because AIs are not deterministic. If you ask it, like, undo your changes, make it green back, there is no guarantee that the AI is going to actually restore the correct files. Maybe it's going to get worse and worse and worse. So it's very difficult to prompt an AI back on what it did because of how it handled the context and all. So having those hard versions that is just fork the chat and do a hard reset, it's a very good feature. Okay, good question, Satya. Okay.
Okay. Ilust is asking if you want us to share the production URL hosted on Vercel, which is why we are waiting here. If anyone has a version and wants to share with us, please send us the link on the YouTube or Twitter. I will get this link to Mateo so he can open up and we talk about this. Okay?
Yeah. If you want to share, I can pick here. Okay. As the next step, after you finish doing your website, something like that. Oh, it actually looks very good in pink, like Uniswap or something like that, kind of vibes. I guess I don't want to revert it. But Satya, I guess you got the idea. Now, if I wanted to go back to green, I pick on version 6. If I wanted to be pink, as prompted, you go for version 7. For some reason, it's reviewing the work. Maybe the AI got stunned with the results. But okay, proper contrast. Okay, that's good. You can stop the AI, I guess, and publish this version. Don't know what happened here, but it should be published to the link. Now, as next steps, I was speaking about this start button, which is going to be important. I want it to be a placeholder for a link. So I would suggest you to do a landing page. For example, here we're doing the launchpad, so I'm going to use this launchpad example down in the lessons. And I'm going to ask it to put an external link to www.placeholder.com. This is not a real website. If you go for that, last time I checked it, it's empty. There's no placeholder on the placeholder.com, which I find funny. But I'm going to ask this button to link for placeholder.com, which we are going to use later. Okay, in session 3, when we finish deploying our application, we're going to make this button link for our application. Okay, so this is why I want this placeholder here. If you did not finish your website yet, don't stress out. Just remember to put this placeholder link so that when you click it, it should open a new tab. Okay, with the website placeholder.com, which is not a real website. It's just for you to remember that we have this placeholder there to hold the place for your application link when we build that in the future. Okay, so we're going to have 2 websites at the end of this bootcamp, one for your landing page, explain your idea, and another one for the app. This is not like the only way to do it. You could make one website to do both, like for search engine optimization and tracking of links if you want. But that's not the main thing here. I just want to make those 2 websites. One we're going to create today with Visio, and another one that we are going to create in the near future with Scaffold ETH, so that you have those 2. Okay, so your app should be something like that. Should be pink now on my case. Then if I click on start, it should open this new tab with placeholder.com. This should be good enough for the first lesson for us to get started with the vibe coding. Okay. Questions here? You can use Replit. Okay, Miro. Replit creates problems sometimes when you generate your website with a framework called Vite, which is like a very lightweight framework on top of React, which is a favorite option of Replit, of Lovable, and many others. of Bolt as well. The problem of Vite is that sometimes it can get messy when you keep prompting and prompting and prompting it. It can create too many components and create some spaghetti code behind. At least with the things I have seen in V0, it can get messy very easily too, depending on how you prompt. But at least because of the framework is Next.js, it is a little more structured. And then you have a better routing, the components are there, you have a backend, the stuff that's not so messed up. It's easier to fix, okay? I have seen some terrible examples of Vite code, vibe-coded Vite code with Replit that are simply like it's impossible to maintain. More than 100 components inside a website with 3 pages for some reason. I kept creating new and new components for some reason. So, and I also have seen good examples with Vite. So it's not guaranteed that you're going to get a bad result by using Replit. But so far, in more than like 200, 300 projects that I saw Vite coded, V0 is a bit more stable because it uses Next.js, which is a bit more strict than Vite. It creates some guardrails for the AI to follow. It still messes up a lot of time, but it's quite easy to repair than the madness that Replit is doing in the back, okay? So this is why I suggest V0. Also the credits and other a lot of reasons, okay? So this is basically the idea for you to vibe code something, publishing a website live. We have hit this landmark here, this milestone here. But for next lesson, I'm going to suggest you to use some tools for you to install Scaffold ETH. Let me show why. Scaffold ETH. This is going to be Scaffold ETH 2, okay, in this website. Because this is going to give you all the scaffolding necessary, all the building blocks necessary for you to build EVM compatible application. So the ETH ecosystem, even though XDC is not like there inside the L1, L2 scenario, it is EVM compatible. So we can use this scaffold to build things on top of XDX already, because it comes prepackaged with Next.js, with Rainbow Kit, with WAGMI, with TypeScript, with basically everything that you need for creating the apps without worrying with creating the apps yourself. You're creating the actual integrations of it yourself. For a developer, this is great. And even for a non-developer, these geniuses have started this idea, this trend of putting an LLM.txt, which is basically a huge lump of like dump of context that you can just feed that for an AI, and it's going to know how to use the application very well. Okay, so this is part of the context of the AI. We're going to use some specific toolings for using that and techniques. And this is going to be gold. Okay, this is going to be very important for you to vibe code the app with safety, with guardrails, the correct flows of development without the AI getting crazy. Okay, so this is why I like to use the scaffolding. There are all the tools there doing the same thing, but for XDC, I found this would be the best fit. And we are going to use that for getting started in less than 3 days deploying on XDC. Okay, Scaffold ETH. And for that, we don't have like a Scaffold ETH V0 or something like that. It would be nice if they had. So for that, I will ask you for creating some things on your machine, for setting up your environment. Okay, so there is a bit of pre-read materials for you to go through. We're going to start on that tomorrow, getting started with the wallet, and everything is going to be important. Okay, I'm going to note that for you as well. But more important than that, we need to do some environment setup. Okay, if you are not a developer, you might have missed the terminal in your computer. Okay, in Windows, I'm using Windows right now. Tomorrow I'm going to be using Linux. But on Windows, we have this terminal. So let me see if it's presenting this terminal here. This yeah. So in your computer, you should have something like that, a terminal, where you can do commands like cd for desktop, This is going to change directory for desktop. And then I'm going to do a dir that is going to show that the files there's not there. So these kind of commands in your terminal are going to be super important for tomorrow's lesson, okay? So whether you're on Mac, on Windows, or Linux, make sure that you find this terminal application, shell, bash, whatever that you can use those commands would be good. And try to get familiar with the navigation commands, okay? If you want to get more information about that, you can ask AI. So like, explain this. What are those navigation problems? So the AI can explain you that. So CD is going to change directory, move in a folder, for example. You can do that, okay? It's not a big deal. Oh, I'm going to learn JavaScript. No, this is just learning a program, like Excel live kind of complexities here. Inside the terminal, I'm going to ask you to use Git. Sometimes we're using GitHub version control, okay? There are instructions for installing it on Windows, on Mac, and Linux. Should be very simple, 5 minutes or so. AI can explain you as well how to use Git, how to install Git. So what is Git? A version control system, example, okay? So AI can teach you, not with as many bad jokes as I do, but it can teach you. Maybe it can give you bad jokes if you ask it to, but maybe not as bad as mine. So you're going to install Git. You are going to install this tool called Node.js npm, okay? You can download it for Windows, for Mac, for Linux, and install that in your computer. It should take 5 to 10 minutes as well, unless you're doing something wrong. And after that, we're going to use this little micro definition inside Node that is yarn, that you can just run this command on your terminal to enable it. Okay, if you don't know what is yarn, if you don't know what is Node, npm, don't worry about that. This is kind of development tooling for you to get started with the projects. We are going to need those specific tools for tomorrow. If you don't have these tools, there is nothing that you can install yourself and go from there. Unfortunately, you do need to set this up on your machine. Tomorrow, I'm going to be using an IDE in my machine itself. I would recommend following along with one of these. It can be VS Code with Copilot. It can be Cursor. I'm going to be using this tool called Windsurf because I have experience with that. I've been using it for a bunch. I was using Cursor for a while. The pricing was not working that well for me. And if you want free codes, discount codes from Windsurf, you can get with Venture Miner. Okay, we can give for everyone participating in that bootcamp discount code that is V-Miner. We put here in the chat V-Miner. That you can use Windsurf for free for 1 month, the Windsurf Pro. Okay, so it's going to be running your machine. If you want to use Cursor, of course you can. If you want to use other like Klein or GitHub Copilot inside VS Code, you can use whatever you want. I will be using Windsurf tomorrow. I have it in my computer. I have the Pro plan. I'm going to be using this. And I'm going to use this kind of text, of definitions from Scaffold ETH inside Windsurf so that it doesn't get lost. Okay, so that's the run plan for tomorrow. For you to get started tomorrow, please make sure that you go from step 1 to step 5 here. Yes, you're going to need Node and Yarn, both of them, okay, in your computer, and make sure that you have this tool, Windsurf or Cursor or something like that, in your computer, at least VS Code, something like that, you should have on your computer. Text editor maybe, but would be very tricky to handle all the files. So some dev tooling like that you would need to have for tomorrow's lesson. Okay, you can even suggest a few here. If you want to prepare your environment on the blockchain part already, I would recommend you for going for those tools, this pre-read, the getting started, the block explorer, the web wallet, and all of that. Okay, this is a good idea for you to get started. Okay, um, this is the website. Those links, the docs, reading the docs for the XDC chain, the Kickstart tools, and all. And for tomorrow, we are going to use this testnet called Apothen. And the testnet for Apothen, please someone correct me if you know the pronunciation. If you want to give a look on that tomorrow, before tomorrow, for you to give a look on this network, we are going to explore how this network works, this testnet network, how to do the transactions here, and why this is important, what should be at the app and all. And we are going to use this wallet called MetaMask. This is very easy. You can just click here, and then this is going to add XDC to your wallet. And this wallet, it can be installed on your browser, either Firefox, like I'm using, or Chrome, Edge, Safari, whatever browser that you want to use. You can install this extension called MetaMask. It is Ethereum compatible. If you want to do that for tomorrow, it's going to be very good, because then you can use this wallet to get this tokens inside this thing called Faucet. Okay, we're going to show that tomorrow as well. But if you want to go ahead and prepare that, creating your wallet, because you can request free money. Yes, I'm going to show you how to get free money. Sounds good. Picture me doing a thumbs up, smiling now. I don't have the camera, but this is free fake money. Okay, so these 1000 XDC tokens are only inside the testnet, and this testnet doesn't allow you to like spend this money in real world. Okay, you cannot like buy a car with that or anything like that. You cannot buy not even a pizza with that, not even a hot dog with that. So it is only testnet tokens for you to do test stuff like a sandbox. Okay, I'm going to show how to use that. There are some RPC connection stuff that I'm going to show tomorrow as well, that you can configure for this specific application. If you do this up to tomorrow with MetaMask and get faucets, you're going to have a very good head start. Tomorrow's session is going to go very well for you. Okay, this would be the pre-read material for getting started with it, and finish your environment setup, and we're going to be good for tomorrow. Okay, good. So this is it. If you have any questions, fake free money, yeah, that's the spirit. No one can see me, okay? I'm
Okay,
invisible.
so Miro has asked, I guess this is a difficult question for beginners, but he wants to know, what about Nora for using smart contracts?
I've seen them a couple of weeks ago in the ETH Global New York, but I haven't dig onto them very well yet. I don't know. Have you experienced with them, Miro? Let me know how it is. I really don't have any recommendations or no for that.
As well as Satya asked if he will use both Yarn and NPM.
Yes, I answered that. We're going to use both.
Perfect. I guess we have all the questions answered.
Okay,
Oh,
my
you're
camera is
back.
back.
Oh,
Okay, good.
okay.
Good. On Windsurf, so Windsurf is going to be a tool in my computer that is going to do the programming for me. I'm going to set up the rules there, how to behave, what to answer, and all. And in fact, it can even, if you install Windsurf, of course, and all, you can even install these tools on your computer, like install Git on your computer, install NPM on your computer, and all. I don't recommend that much. It's not that it's super dangerous to install NPM with these AI tools. It's just that you don't want to get used to that, because at some point it can go crazy, start installing crazy stuff on your computer. But for tomorrow, at least for scaffolding now, instead of going over that for a full week, we're going to do that in like half an hour using AI by using these tools, Windsurf, of course, or something that you want to install on your computer. Okay.
Okay. So that's it for today. Can you list the
Okay.
tools that need to be ready for lesson tomorrow? So NFT bridges, we have a link on our GitHub. There are the points that you need to follow through. I guess it's 1 through 5, right? I
Yeah,
will put the GitHub link again in the chat. So if you follow them through, you'll be ready for today's lesson.
yeah. And I'm going to also, just after finish today's lesson, I'm going to also I'll put some more links there, some more explanation with the questions that we had today. Okay,
Okay.
good. If anyone, if you want to also ask questions, there, let me share my screen again. If you want to ask questions in the GitHub, we had a contribution already. You can go here for discussions, and you can present yourself like welcome to XDC Vibes. So you can present yourself like Hollander, he who presents himself here that's good, or herself. It is a good place for us to collaborate. You can do Q&A here. You can show your project here. You can ask for ideas here. You can speak about your ideas here. So it's a great place for us to start discussions, okay? Don't be shy. Post everything here. Even if you're watching asynchronously, this can be a great way for us to communicate, for you to ask questions, for you to collaborate with the other people participating in the bootcamp. Okay, so you should increase your chances of success.
So in the GitHub, we have a tab that is discussion. You click there, and then you can mention as I did there. I put a link there, a name, like a title, and then I put some comments there that Matthias is doing a good job, or the question that you want to do. But just so you guys know, don't be shy at all. We will be watching you, and we'll be following through step by step.
Okay, that was a very good first session. I hope that you all enjoyed. I'm going to send all the invites for tomorrow, should be on your calendar, and we go from there. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Matheus, for the class. Thank you, everyone that was in Twitter and it was in YouTube. Again, we will see each other at the same moment at 6 EDTA, and we will be going from there. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.